saw only one Scorsese movie. I had probably one of the longest shifts I've had in my work career, so I was absolutely exhausted. I slept like an hour after work, but it wasn't enough. I was still exhausted, so I just saw one movie. So why not see one movie out of the Scorsese list and have it one of the bests? And that's this movie. The movie that we're talking about is the film Raging Bull. Raging Bull is a biographical drama about the life of boxer Jake LaMotta, whose violence and temper that led him to the top in the ring destroyed his life outside of it. The film's runtime is 129 minutes. The film's rating is R in color. Black and white. I'm fucking it all up. Anyways, the film's directed by Martin Scorsese, known for the films Mean Streets, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and Taxi Driver. Anyways, that was a little hectic. The film that we're talking about is Raging Bull, and this is probably the movie that I was much wanting to see. This is the only film from the Scorsese chronology, other than maybe, what's that film? Gangs of New York is the other one that I'm excited to see that one. But other than that is this film. I remember I saw not the whole movie, but a little bit of it, and just being hypnotized by the intro of this movie. The intro of Raging Bull is probably the greatest intro in cinematic history. Just the music, the cinematography, it's just damn near perfect. And ever since the day I saw the intro, I had to finish Raging Bull. I did yesterday, and I gotta say, Raging Bull is a masterpiece. This film is a masterpiece, and it's absolutely Robert De Niro's greatest performance he's ever had. Cape Fear is definitely one of his bests as well, and Taxi Driver. But I believe this is his masterpiece. Like a genuine actor, this is the film that I say, listen, this is Robert De Niro in his peak, and you show this film. Raging Bull not only is one of De Niro's best performances, but it's just one of, I would say, Scorsese's best movies. Raging Bull is an amazing film that takes the story of Jake LaMotta, the real-life boxer, and just not only his career, but the man himself, which is a very, very flawed human being. And I felt Raging Bull is absolutely a Scorsese's masterpiece. Their performances are fantastic, specifically Robert De Niro as the boxer Jake LaMotta, who is a street fighter who he wants to get to the title shot, but he's also paranoid. He's a very flawed person, and he wants to be the best. And Jake LaMotta is easily De Niro's best performance. Not only does he capture the real life guy, but also does some real physical work when it comes to the end time of his career. And I believe De Niro really just became this person, and I think Robert De Niro's performance is a freaking peak. It's fantastic. And I think Robert De Niro deserves every praise. Just he's a terrifying person, but also just a person that you kind of feel a little pity for. Of just the kind of person that he is, the kind of person that he was brought up, and you kind of feel pity for the character, even though he's fucked up and mentally, and just the way he does things. And I think Robert De Niro portrayed this character beautifully. And it's also Joe Pesci is in this film, first time working with Scorsese, and he's the brother of De Niro, and he's his manager as well, manages his fights and just helps him out, and just his brother. And Joe Pesci's fantastic in this movie. He plays his brother beautifully. Their on-screen chemistry is just amazing. You can tell the potential of these two guys on screen, and it shows with each Scorsese film. And Joe Pesci's fantastic. Also, the young Frank Vincent, who of course I think that's his name, who was in a lot of Scorsese movies, sadly passed away. He was in The Sopranos, and yeah, he's great. He's great in the movie. And you also got the wife, who absolutely looks like a 50s star or just a 50s woman. And she's fantastic in the movie, and her relationship with Jake LaMotta is really interesting. Vicky, I can imagine her just personalness of of this man who's just super paranoid and just is a very complex, complicated person. And yeah, I think her character and how she deals with some of the abuse, specifically physical and mental, is just fantastic. Performances by everyone's amazing, and easily Robert De Niro's is just best performance of his career. And the direction by Scorsese is an absolute masterclass. This is such a well-directed film. He takes this really complex person and this man who's just very fucked up and tells his story, and I believe this film was told beautifully, and his choice of making this film black and white is one of the best choices Scorsese could have done, because it really tells the time period and the time of when Jake LaMotta was a boxer, and I believe that choice was amazing. The writing by Paul Schrader is fantastic. This is a very well written movie. The dialogue and just really tells the story of Jake LaMotta in the most perfect way possible. And the chemistry is just amazing. Just the on-screen chemistry of De Niro and Pesci is fantastic. They have such fantastic chemistry. The cinematography is masterful. This is such a well-shot film, beautifully made, and it's I can absolutely call it. It could be considered one of the greatest films ever made. The music is amazing. The score is just fantastic. The Raging Bull theme song just really gives you the story, and really just gives you the tone of what you're about to see instantaneously during the beginning. The editing, I gotta give props, is fantastic. The editing is amazing. When the scene of where Jake LaMotta is getting battered by Sugar Ray, and just how you just see him, Sugar Ray, who looks just menacing, is absolutely amazing. This is I would say one of the greatest films of all time, and it could be considered that. This film is masterfully done, it's masterfully directed, it's masterful performance by De Niro, and the emotions that I felt hypnotized. With every frame of this film, I genuinely felt hypnotized, and when the end credits appear, I felt like, wow, I saw something today, I saw something special. Even though I had an exhausting day at work, this film really just brought the house down, and by the end I just felt floored by what I saw. And it's just funny because when I was watching this movie, I had the back of my mind of Brian De Palma, in which he said, man, Brian De Palma is also one of the best directors at the time, and when he's like, oh man, I made such a thing, my masterpiece. And then there's just Scorsese, and that is what you gotta say. Scorsese is one of the greatest directors of all time, and Raging Bull is an absolute masterpiece, and this film is what Scorsese's made of. And this film came out in the 80s, and he started off the 80s with a freaking high note. And for that, this film gets my highest rating of 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely love this movie. This movie's perfect. It is a perfect made film. And I just felt like I saw something special. And when you watch a movie for the first time and actually like go through it, and by the end you feel like you saw something special, it probably means that film was special, and that's Raging Bull. It's probably, I gotta say, one of my favorite Scorsese movies. It's a film that I didn't see the movie. Of course, I saw the film, maybe not till the end, but it was just the intro, man. The intro hypnotized me, and the film kept me in that. It hypnotized throughout this whole entire runtime, and that's Raging Bull, and you have to see this film to believe it. And yeah, it's a masterpiece. Those are my thoughts, guys. And yeah, De Niro, also just Robert De Niro and just his weight gain, where I think Scorsese was like, yeah man, we gotta shoot this as quickly as possible because this is super unhealthy. And Robert De Niro legitimately physically and mentally became Jake LaMotta, and that's why some could consider De Niro as the greatest actor of all time, and I cannot convince you otherwise. And yeah, those are my thoughts. And see Raging Bull, see it as quickly as you can. So those are my thoughts.